because PDA is nothing but a public advertisement for making out more, which I'm always in favor of. And if you've seen me making out at a bar, shut your mouth. If you've seen me making out at the bar, you mind your business, okay? I was making out with someone at Syndicated a couple weeks ago, and I stopped making out with them, and I looked across the bar and made direct eye contact with someone, and it was a very intimate kind of eye contact that kind of made me go, do they know who I am? Like, you know when somebody looks at you and you're like, that felt like a knowing stare.
Tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, I love you.
Bye. What's up, you guys, and welcome to season 5 of Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for heart-to-hearts and hot gossip, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck. Y'all mind if I brand for a second, okay? Season 5 of Emotionally Online. Y'all mind if I just spice things up over here a little bit? For the audio listeners of this show, you don't know this, but I am currently sitting in the new set of Emotionally Online. And by the new set, I mean my bedroom. Just lover girl-ified, if you will. I transformed my bedroom into a real set of this show. I've made it the bedroom of my child self's dreams, actually. This feels like the bedroom that I witnessed watching TV and movies in the early 2000s and thought to myself, like, God, what I would do for that bedroom. Like, do you remember Raven's bedroom and That's So Raven? I remember looking at her bedroom and how it was designed, the maximalist energy of the whole thing, and just wishing, praying on my hands and knees that could someday be me. And here we are in the Emotionally Online cinematic universe here in Lover Girls HQ. Absolutely doing it up for season 5 of the show. We've got some new cover art going on, shot by Karina of Really Hot Creative. We've got a new logo, okay. New design assets were done by Alex Joseph. I literally could not be happier with how this rebrand has turned out, and I am so excited to continue sharing with you all the new little secrets I've got up my sleeve. Okay. But wow, do we have so much to talk about, because I've had my mouth shut for like 3 weeks. Well, I've had my mouth shut about all of this for 4 months. So really, I deserve an award for not yapping about this on the main pod, though my patrons have known about this every step of the way, because I cannot keep my mouth shut to everyone. Okay. I reveal my secrets to a small group of people who ultimately have no one to talk about it with but each other. So how about that? How about them apples? Me going on Patreon feels like the same way as when your friend tells you a secret. Your friend tells you someone else's secret and they're like, you can't tell anyone. If I tell you this, you absolutely cannot tell anyone. And they're like, who would I tell? That's how I feel every time I go on Patreon. And I'm like, guys, you cannot tell anyone. And you guys are like, who would I tell? The other person that's also in this Patreon chat, like, who am I going to tell? And I'm like, you know what, period. Let me just tell you everything that's going on. So patrons have known that this is happening. My mouth has been completely shut on that. But what I was saying was that my mouth has been shut for the last 3 weeks because I haven't been on mic. Okay. We've been relaxing. We've been resting. Sort of. I was with my family for part of that. I don't know if relaxing and family go together. But, you know, we got in some family time, and then I came back to my apartment in New York, and I have relaxed separately by myself with peace and love. With peace and love to the Drosbecks, I do love you. And also, Queens, you guys are not relaxing to be around at all. Okay, love you down though. Okay, we relax in different ways. It's the beginning of 2026, and I know you guys have all been waiting with bated breath for me to talk about my ins and outs for the year. So I'm going to give you exactly what you wanted, okay? The CEO of Lover Girls Worldwide has spoken, and these are the definitive, no room for negotiations, ins and outs of 2026. I honestly was very meticulous about getting this list right, and I think that I got everything that I wanted. All right, you guys are going to love this. Let's get into the ins for 2026. Let's start on a positive note, and then we can end on a hater note, because life is about balance. It's about yin and yang. It's about being a lover and a hater, and I've always said that. in this year, art parties and crafternoons. Okay. I stole the word crafternoon from my friend Kath because I think it's brilliant. I held a little art party crafternoon of my own back in October to commemorate my Mango, Miss Mango the Gooey Girl. My friends came over and we all drew/painted portraits of Mango to go on my fridge. And I have, as you guys know, become obsessed with oil pastels ever since. And just the idea of gathering people to make art together, I think it is very sweet. It's reconnecting me to my like deep childhood roots because I was always a performing kind of girl. I was never into fine art. I was more into performing art. And so like drawing and painting to me are parts of my brain that I haven't really exercised since I was little. I'm talking like first, second grade little. And it has been just the most fun ever to get to unearth that part of my brain and do it alongside friends of mine. So art parties and crafternoons are so in this year. Invite your friends, get your little art supplies together, drink some wine, have some little appetizers, some, what do they call them? Crudité, if you will. That wasn't what I was thinking about. What was the other one? Oh, hors d'oeuvres. All right, we get a little hors d'oeuvre going on for the crafternoon. And you'll have the best day of your life. Confirmed, okay? No takebacks, no returns. You won't need one. Okay, no return policy over here because you're going to love it. Guaranteed. Okay, this next one, huge in. Always. I've been saying this for a while, but I'm really pushing it into the public sphere at this point, and that is making out and nothing else. Yeah! Making out and nothing else. Ooh, 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 ooh. Guys, what's better than making out and doing nothing else? I just think that people have gotten too entrenched in escalation. I think we need to go back to the ancient texts of having a little taste and then taking that shit right away. We don't need everything. We don't need to do everything. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I believe that part of being a true hedonist and really being a pleasure-focused girl at the heart of it all is to engage in true, elongated, extended foreplay that spans across not only hours, but days, months, and dare I say even years, okay? I want to make out and do nothing else for months. And we're going to let that tension build. We're going to let it build and build and build and build until one day it busts the fuck open. But for now, we make out and do nothing else. And I understand that this is going to be a hard sell for some of you, but to the right audience, you're looking at me, nodding your heads, going, thank fucking God, okay? Because I think that it's becoming a lost art in a very tragic way. Number one, people aren't making out at the bars anymore. People are not making out in public. I'm PDA forward. I'm pro PDA because PDA is nothing but a public advertisement for making out more, which I'm always in favor of. And if you've seen me making out at a bar, shut your mouth. If you've seen me making out at the bar, you mind your business, okay? I was making out with someone at Syndicated a couple weeks ago, and I stopped making out with them, and I looked across the bar and made direct eye contact with someone, and it was a very intimate kind of eye contact that kind of made me go, do they know who I am? Like, you know when somebody looks at you and you're like, that felt like a knowing stare. Like, I just felt like it communicated something. Anyways, it was a very intimate moment that me and this woman shared from across the bar when she made eye contact with me after I finished making out with someone. But it was beautiful. It was really, truly beautiful. And that was a night where I made out and did nothing else. And it was fucking awesome. I went home and was like, I flirted hard. I made out and then I said, and I'm going home and you're not coming with me. I'm going home. All I wanted to do was make out, making out and nothing else. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. More of us should do it. And down with the rising expectation to always fuck when you're being flirty. Making out is a luxury in and of itself. I just think it needs a moment of its own. It's the same thing as like if your birthday is on Christmas. You know, that sucks having your birthday on Christmas. You want to have those things separated. You got to have multiple celebrations. Making out's got to have its own day. We can't have making out on the same day as all these other things. Making out has to exist separately. Making out and nothing else. Give her her flowers. That's that. That is that. I feel like I did a good job of telling that, actually. I'm sold again. Next up, fat bitches, in parentheses, delicacy. Because in the age of Ozempic, that is truly what us fat bitches are becoming, okay? A delicacy. At the end of the day, I ride for the big girls. At the end of the day, it's me and fat girls until the day I fucking die. At the end of the day, you are who I love the most. Sorry, not to pick favorites, but I do. But I do love fat women more than anybody else on earth. And I'm really loving the word delicacy for myself recently. I just think in a world where the pressure is mounting to shrink yourself, there's something quite scrumptious about referring to yourself as a delicacy. It's a specialty, okay? It's indulgent. And that's exactly what I am. I'm a sweet motherfucking treat that many of you would like to indulge in, whether you'll admit it or not. Oh. Next up, doing it imperfectly, but doing it entirely yourself. AI will literally never be cool. Never in a million years will creating things using AI be compelling or interesting or cool. It just makes you lame as fuck. It brings me, as I'm sure it comes to no surprise of anybody who listens to this show, but the rise in AI generated content online brings me great stress on a day-to-day basis. The amount of AI that I am subjected to, the amount of apps and websites and things that I use on a day-to-day basis that are incorporating AI into the platform in major ways, in ways that we can't even opt out of, it makes me so mad. I'm being forced to use something that I fucking hate. And anybody that chooses to use AI in a creative sense specifically, but really, if you are using ChatGPT at all, I need you to get a grip on reality and wake up. Okay? Wake up, sheeple. What the hell's happening? In a time where so much of the content you're consuming on a day-to-day basis is AI generated, doing things imperfectly, being a little messy with it, making mistakes is actually gonna become cooler and sexier, and ultimately proof that you are a human that can err and make mistakes. And I think that's awesome. I've seen a couple makeup beauty girlies online doing like really messy makeup, talking about this very concept of doing things imperfectly being of like higher cultural value in an AI era. And I love it. I love just like the smearing of the eyeliner, bright, messy eyeshadow. Clearly, that's been my vibe for years now. But know that doing something yourself, doing it imperfectly, having there be visible mistakes is actually way cooler and more impressive than using AI to make something perfect. Always has been, always will be. Effort is sexy. Passion is sexy. And AI is void of those things. So, what are we going to do about that? Stop using it, okay? If there's anybody listening to the show that still uses AI, I'm honestly going to be surprised, but you know, I'll never stop trying. If there's a few of you here that still are, I'm going to keep trying to convince you to stop doing that with peace and love. Sometimes. Next up, leaving a voicemail. So in. Now, I'm always a calls over texts kind of girl. I don't know when the shift happened to people being like scared to call their friends because they're like, oh, what if they're busy? What if they're doing something and they can't pick up the phone and I called them at a bad time? Okay, then they just send you to voicemail and you leave them a nice little message for them to come to when they're not busy. Why are we worried about calling people when they're busy? Like, people can just ignore your call and that's not personal. Anyways, big on calling instead of texting. And I do just believe that we should always be leaving voicemails. Because why not? Too often have I been calling people, they don't pick up, and then I just hang up with the call. No. Leave a little voicemail. Leave me a little love note, little message, so I can save it on my machine forever. Famously, I do love saving voicemails. Just beware that in the future you don't leave a hate comment on my friend's Instagram reel, because, you know, then I might still have a voicemail of you crying about how you're going nowhere in life, serving as direct proof years later that you really didn't, because you're on Instagram leaving hate comments. So, you know, always be cautious of that part. Next up, collecting physical media. This year, I really want to get into collecting DVDs. I want to have hard physical copies of my favorite movies. I need to acquire a DVD player first for this to really start making sense for why I would need to own these things. But also, I would love to start renting DVDs from the library. I think I've been sleeping on that. Again, I do not have a DVD player, so I've had no use for them up until this point, but I think that could also be huge this year. Really, I just think the return to physical media where we can is gonna be awesome. I have signed up for a couple magazine subscriptions. That way in the morning when I'm drinking my matcha, eating my breakfast, I can sit at the counter and read some articles, stories in a magazine instead of being on my phone or even doing the same thing on my phone. There's something about holding a physical print magazine or print newspaper and getting your news and updates and information that way, just so that you're off your phone more and you're still connected and up to date, but in a way that doesn't distract the hell out of you and all of a sudden you're stuck scrolling even though you went online to read an article. It just allows you to focus and unplug, and I've really been loving it. So DVDs, huge. Magazines, newspapers, physical print media, also gonna be huge this year. Next up, pump casting. If you know, you know. That's really all I'm going to say about that. Visiting small independent cinemas wherever you travel. I think that going to the movies is slept on. I think that usually people, when they travel, they're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the movies because why would I do that? I can go to the movies anywhere. But I disagree. I think that going to small independent movie theaters where you're traveling to and experiencing the theater experience in all these different unique quirky theaters is kind of special. It sometimes really does just make me so sad that people don't see the beauty in that, or they're like, I don't know, movies and the movie theater experience has become so commercialized and streaming has just taken away all the whimsy and wonder of watching a movie for the first time, that people are like, oh, why would I do that? What do you mean, why would you do that? Why would you go consume a piece of art in a quirky, unique space in a part of the world that you've never been to before, in a community, immerse yourself in the I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to explain to you how cool that is if you don't get it. So small independent cinemas, visiting them whenever you travel, incorporating that as a part of your culture and art exploration when going to a new place. I think that's awesome. Okay, next two kind of go together. So first up, we have honoring your routine and sticking to it, immediately followed by regressing for a weekend. Honoring your routine and sticking to it is feeling more and more important to me. Maybe I'm just 28 and wearing an Oura ring, but all I know is that when I stray from my routine, I go out, I stay up a little late, I have a couple extra glasses of wine, and then I wake up the next morning and my Oura ring is like, did you try to kill yourself last night? What the hell happened? Okay? All of your body biometrics are out of fucking whack. You need to go back to bed. Turns out having a routine and sticking to it does feel awesome. So fuck. What the hell? But on the flip side of that same coin, do you know what else is awesome? Regressing for a weekend. And I'm talking regression in any capacity. Sometimes I want to forget that I know better. Sometimes I just want to be a little messy for the weekend. I want to stay too long. I want to text someone I probably shouldn't. Sometimes I just don't want to be as fantastic as I usually am. Sometimes I want to be a mess. Sometimes I just want to be a little silly, have a little fun. Maybe I'll regret it later. I'll go back to being classic Maddie in a couple days, right? But sometimes I just need to bust loose a little bit and forget some things that I've learned. Sometimes you just need to regress for a weekend. For a weekend, no more, no less. Take it or leave it. I just need to do the wiggles. Break up on Miley Cyrus. Those are the vibes I'm bringing to my regression weekends. These do coincide with Slut Saturdays, just to be clear. Slut Saturday for me is almost part of my regression weekends, but not really, but in some ways, because I haven't had a slut Saturday since I was like 22. Except I had 3 slut Saturdays in a row in December. So things are getting crazy. Things are getting crazy over here. Asterisks, making out and nothing else. Okay. Slut Saturdays, making out and nothing else are connected. It's an infinity sign. We're just going around taking little stops along the way. Okay. Next up, animal print on animal print. Can you tell? Can you tell that's what I believe? That I am just big on wearing all kinds of animal print at once. I'm wearing a zebra pajama set with a leopard robe on my leopard print bed. So clearly I'm all for everything that's happening right now. Maximalists are winning. Yearning. Okay, Heated Rivalry has actually done Yearners a major PR op. I think yearning is always in. Again, asterisks, making out of nothing else. Yearners are going to have a big year. Huge for us. Huge for us here at Lover Girls HQ. Bottoms Up by Keke Palmer. Let's fucking talk about it. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, Bottoms Up by Keke Palmer literally kept me afloat. I was exposed to it at theater camp and my life was changed afterwards. Really, that summer was quite transformative for me. Summer 2010. I made my YouTube channel. I went to theater camp. I was exposed to Bottoms Up by Keke Palmer and Pretty Little Liars. Kind of crazy things were happening. You had to be there. Next up, and I cannot stop talking about them, but Smosh in a major way. Smosh is so in 2026. I just think that we are witnessing a Smosh renaissance happening in real time, and I'm so happy to be here for it. I'm so happy to be a part of the Smosh-dom. What are Smosh fans called? Smoshers. Smoshers. Okay. Clearly I can't think of anything else. Next up, assuming best intent. Holy fuck. In a world where so many people just want to assume the worst of everyone, assuming best intent is always in. Always assume that someone has good intentions. Move through the world assuming that people are trying their best and that they are doing the best they can with the information they have and the circumstances that they are currently in. I think when you assume that everybody is trying their best to do their best, you will be a lot kinder to other people and you'll probably feel a little bit lighter. Don't stress. Everyone's just doing their best. Assume best intent. I think we'll all be a little bit happier. Next up, fostering cats, kissing them on the head as often as possible, and instilling the sweetness teachings of Miss Mango, the gooey girl. I am probably going to get back into fostering soon because I would love to have some animals to take care of. I think that it would make my heart feel happy to have some purpose there in taking care of some animals. And yeah, that's going to be a complicated journey for me in and of itself. But I think for me, continuing to foster feels like a way to honor Mango and how much she loved the foster cats and how much fun that I had fostering with her. And now I get to continue fostering in honor of her and continue churning out a bunch of little lover girl cats to be spread all over New York City. So onwards. Next up, Dr. Pepper. Hugely in right now. I'm ordering Dr. Peppers at the movie theater instead of Diet Coke. What? Nothing is ever going to replace Diet Coke. She holds such a special place in my heart, but Dr. Pepper actually having a major moment right now. Next, showing thigh as often as possible, in parentheses, please. Because thighs are probably the best body part, universally. And I think we can all agree on that. And I just think that any opportunity to show thigh, we should be taken. Amen. The next two are sort of branching off of my art parties and craft afternoons point, and it is prioritizing creativity over everything else and oil pastels. 2026 is going to be a year of infusing your world with creativity. Try out a new medium. Make sure you are doing something creative each week and consuming something creative each week. I think that this should be a good goal. Creating something of your own and also going out to a museum, to a movie, to a small little jazz show, to a concert, whatever it is, going and consuming someone else's creative work and letting just the creative energy pulse through your whole body and inspire the hell out of you. Go make out with someone creative and let their mind and your mind just absolutely mesh together and mold and morph until you are one creative being for a few brief, fleeting, beautiful, sensual seconds. Fuck. Being the last person to leave the function, so in. Putting capers on everything, so in. Staying warm and soft and sweet, never hardening, no matter what, so in. And last but not least, writing your number on their hand. No, I will not put my contact in your phone, because again, we're going back to the ancient texts. We're going back to physical media. We are making out and doing nothing else. We are rewinding, and we are going back to writing our phone number on the backs of people's hands instead of just putting our phone number in their phones. Don't give me your iPhone. I don't want to touch it. What the hell is that? As much as I've loved loving things, secretly, I do also love hating things. As an opinionated woman, I do love being a hater sometimes. So this is the list of what is out this year. And some of you are not going to be happy with me, but it had to be said. First up, this should come as no surprise to no one, but the top of my outs list this year is pretending your individual AI use isn't a problem. It is. It unfortunately is. So I'm going to need you to knock it off. I'm going to need everyone to stop pretending that when we're talking about AI being a problem, we're not including people's everyday use of ChatGPT. We are absolutely talking about that. That is absolutely included. And I think that everyone should be doing some reflection if they are honest to God using ChatGPT in the year of our Lord, 2026. We gotta kick that to the curb. Next up, celebrity hosted podcasts. I'll give like one half pass to Amy Poehler, mostly because I just like her. And I have enjoyed some episodes of her podcast that I've listened to. But mostly, I'm just over celebrity hosted podcasts. I can't tell you how truly and deeply uninspiring it was to see them add the podcasting category at the Golden Globes, and the only people nominated were celebrity podcasts. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That is lame. I just feel like it's so deeply uninspiring to me. If you're going to have a category at the Golden Globes for podcasting, you can't possibly only nominate celebrity hosted podcasts. There is no way that all of the best podcasts are celebrity hosted. Most of them suck. Truly, most of them suck. Most of the best podcasts, you probably have no idea that they exist. Until I see Smosh Reads Reddit Stories nominated for a Golden Globe, you can hold that shit and take it back to the factory. I want nothing to do with it. It's just kind of lame and it's embarrassing. It's like, that's not what podcasting is. I don't even know that I believe that podcasting should be a category at the Golden Globes, but if you were going to convince me that it should, it absolutely shouldn't only be celebrity hosted podcasts in the fucking category or the most popular podcasts. Like, you just look at the Apple podcast charts and those are the ones that are nominated. Like, it's boring. It's so boring. I just feel like we needed a little bit more of a deep cut. I need the people that work on these nominations to have the, searching ability of a 17-year-old with a Tumblr account that wants to seem interesting and unique. Like, you guys needed to go deeper with your palette. You needed to go find something that nobody else has seen before that would wow someone else and be like, whoa, I've never heard of that podcast before. We need to start treating podcasts like teenagers treat music. Okay? We need to be curating our podcast selections the way that a teenager on Tumblr would curate their autoplay playlists on their blogs in the year 2012, picking some deep cut songs that nobody has ever heard of, that they themselves probably never heard of, but they just, discovered it, saw that it only had a couple thousand listens on Spotify, and were like, get that shit in there. I'm indie. I'm a hipster. Okay? I need some of you guys that are in charge of the Golden Globes and all this other shit. I need you to move through the world with that energy. I need you guys to be a little bit quirkier, because nominating exclusively celebrity podcasts for best podcast at the fucking Golden Globes wasn't going to sell anybody. No. Take it back. We don't want it. Returns accepted in this regard. Next out, being mysterious. Grow up. Oh, look at you with your secrets and posting cryptic things online. Oh, grow up, okay? Nobody needs mystery anymore. Like I said earlier, tell me your secrets. Who am I going to tell it to? It's just for me and only me. I'm not even planning to take it anywhere. And if I was, my friend would also be sworn to secrecy. Anything you tell me will be told to Ashley Olafson, but that's okay, because who's Ashley going to tell? Me. Okay? We are all in the circle of secrecy. I tell Ashley, Ashley tells me, but this is where it starts and ends, baby. Okay? We're just connected at the mind. But it's not even that. To me, it's the performative mysteriousness that I just am so over. It's like the soft launch of it all. I'm not even exclusively talking about relationship stuff though. Like, people love just pretending like they are so mysterious and crazy on Instagram and TikTok, and it's so boring to me. Enough with being cryptic. Just tell me what the juice is. Who am I going to tell? Okay? What I think is awesome though, and this is what I do. So I'm exposing myself right now. But really what you guys gotta do is, if you want to give people the air of mystery, you just put your secrets in the middle of an hour-long podcast episode or towards the end, because then it's like, okay, well, if you discovered my secret, you had to have sat down and watched this for an hour, which is kind of awesome. At that point, you deserve the secret. You had to work for it. Put your secret within a piece of extra long-form content. The only people that know your secret are the people that were committed to uncovering that secret. Okay, they were doing the excavation. And I think that's worthwhile. So put your secrets in your podcasts, but just put them at the end. So the real frauds can't scalp your secrets from the top of the app. That's my philosophy. Next one is going to be polarizing, but espresso martinis are out. And they're out because I don't like them. I don't like espresso martinis. I think they taste bad. Because I can't tell you how evil I feel when I reach the end of dinner and someone's like, oh my God, should we all get espresso martinis? And I have to be like, you guys have so much fun. I'm not going to do that because I hate espresso martinis. Like, I'm forced to yuck everybody's yum because everyone likes espresso martinis, or seems to, which is why I'm declaring right now they're out. Hey, no rebuttals. No rebuttals, no comebacks. That's it. It's out. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Tiramisu is also out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I'm not a big fan of tiramisu either. I'll eat it. And I would even have a sip of someone's espresso martini if they really needed me to. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, delicioso, the same way I am with a Diet Coke or a glass of Pinot Grigio or a margarita. Oh my God. And as I just said the word margarita, I did have to restrain myself from saying margarita because my grandmother puts an ER at the end of all A words. And if I'm around her, I start wanting to do it too because it's so fun. Margarita. Who wants to get some margaritas? Next out, over-explaining yourself because people are dense. Yup, we need to stop over-explaining ourselves and giving caveats for everything because we know that people are going to be dense. The internet has become a horrible place. It really has, because the amount of assuming worst intent that people do so that you are forced to over-explain yourself into oblivion with every post that you do because people are dead set on assuming you're actually a bad person and they're just waiting to catch you in the first slip up that you have. It's exhausting, and it's not how real people speak to each other. So we're done with that. It's out. Over-explaining yourself, found dead in a ditch. We're not doing it anymore. Who gives a shit? This one might also be controversial, but I stand by it 10 toes down, and it's toe rings. Hey, what the hell? Why? Why are you in there? I don't know that I believe that anything should be wrapped around my little toesies, my little piggies and dogs, okay? I need them to fly free, okay? I just, no, even imagining a toe ring around my toe right now is giving me the heebie-jeebies. They're out. I don't want to see those. Take them off. Next up, clean girl aesthetic. Stop. We need to stop this. Especially in the AI era, I cannot tell you how out these clean aesthetics are. It's all out, okay? I need to see you guys smearing purple and blue eyeshadow and just smudging them around. I need to see that, or I need to have a blindfold on, because I'm done with clean girl anything. We got to be over this. Dye your hair purple. Wake up, America. Okay, another big out, playing it cool. Who cares? I'm pretty sure this was on my outs list for last year too, because playing it cool, always out. Again, this is kind of paired with the being mysterious of it all. Like, just tell me that you're in love with me. Tell me you're obsessed with me and you think I'm fucking awesome. Be a little vulnerable. Stop playing it cool, okay? I want to see your true self. I want you to expose your heart to me. That's hot. You know what's going to get me horny? You exposing your heart and soul to me. You doing the scary thing. Okay? I'm so tired of people not doing scary things because they're like, well, what if it's not received? What if she rejects me? What if I'm in deep admiration of your ability to be vulnerable and I break my making out of nothing else rule? Okay? What if we have a slut Saturday together? What the hell? What are we going to do then? What if something fantastic happens? Something to think about. Something to chew on. Okay? We can come back to that one later. Next out, short form scrolling. Duh, we're done with that. Overly curating / focusing on aesthetics over substance. Always out, but I do fear some people need a reminder. Oh, okay, this next out is actually so near and dear to my heart. And it is being too cool for reality TV. This is particularly added at straight men because they are like the biggest haters of reality TV for some reason. Not that I hang out with that many straight men. And the straight men that I do hang out with are receptive to reality TV. Otherwise, I wouldn't hang out with them, to be so clear. Reality TV is too important to me. But I just am over people who think they're above reality TV. They're just too highbrow for it. I go for the finer cinema. Shut up. Put a sock in it. I want to watch psychological torture in Majorca via Love Island. And what about that? And what about that? I want to watch Stassi Schroeder bully every single man she's ever come into contact with. Like, what about it? What do you mean you're not enjoying yourself? I feel like everybody would enjoy reality TV if they just turned off the part of their brain that had to be too fucking cool all the goddamn time. We get it. Your taste palette is so elevated. You don't give a fuck about reality TV. You're so much better than all of us. Do you feel better now? Like, get over yourself. Get over yourself and get into it. Because you're going to love it. And Love Island All-Stars is starting next week, and I will be watching. Yes, I will. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next out, using the word relatable to describe how a piece of art made you feel. I believe this all the time, and I actually stole this from a poetry professor that I had in college who, when we did our like reviews and we would all sit in a circle and read our piece and people would critique it and talk about what they liked and didn't like. And he was so dead set on a rule in his classroom being that you could not use the word relatable to talk about what you liked or didn't like about someone's poem. And it impacted me so much back then, and it continues to impact me the more as time goes on and sort of the culture around relatability shifts. But I do believe that in a major way. And if you need to relate to art in order for it to mean something to you, I fear we've lost perspective. Not that there's anything bad about relatability. There's obviously power in connecting to a piece of art. But if you connect to a piece of art, if you see yourself in somebody's work, use a better word than relatable. Actually say something of substance. Explain how you connect. Don't just say it was awesome because it's relatable. Give us nothing. Okay? We got to use better words. Bailing last minute, out. This next one is a quote that is a vibe or behavior that I just am over. And this is a made up quote, but you're going to get the vibe. Hold on. The quote is, I totally understand how you feel because if what happened to you happened to me, which it hasn't, I wouldn't know how to survive. There's something truly irking about someone who actively has not gone through what you are going through. That is like, I know exactly how you feel because I'm imagining if I went through what you're going through, I'd just be a wreck. And I'm like, well, thank you. That is so helpful to hear about how you, who is actively not going through this thing, would hate to go through this thing. And that means that you understand what I'm going through. It was like when Mango died and people were messaging me like, oh my God, I can't imagine. I'm going to go hug my cats a little tighter tonight. And I'm like, okay. I hope you do. I'm not sure why you told me that, but thank you. Thank you for telling me. Oh my good grief. Next out, hot Uber rides with that one bubblegum air freshener that makes my head want to fall off. I don't know why anybody buys those. It's not all air fresheners. It's that one that smells like bubblegum or licorice. I don't know. But so many drivers have it, and it gives me an immediate headache. When I walk into a car and I smell that air freshener, I'm like, I'm going to want to throw up by the end of this car ride. And almost always, the drivers who have that air freshener insist on no AC and it's 100 fucking degrees in their car. I don't know. Somebody needs to do a study on that because I do feel like there's an overlap. Someone tell me if I'm crazy. I'm not. I'm not crazy, okay? I'm locked the fuck in. Next out, cringe. It literally doesn't exist. You just have a distinguishable personality in a world that wants you to be the same as everyone else. The concept of cringe, throw it out. It's holding you prisoner. Cringe doesn't exist. It's just you being unique and interesting, and anybody who looks at you and cringes is fucking boring. Next out, Avatar. Mainly because I just don't want to watch these movies. And I'm scared that it's going to get nominated for an Oscar and I'm going to have to fucking watch it. I just don't want to. I don't want to. Can we be done? Can we be over it? Like, why did they sign on for 5 Avatar movies? I don't think we need all that. I don't think that there should be more than 3 movies in a series. I think that 3 should be the absolute cap. A trilogy is all we should have access to. Anything more than that, I just think that you're pushing it. You're stretching it for money, and I hate it, and it's bad. Name me a series of movies that had more than 3 that was worth it. Twilight. Answered my own question. Fuck. Okay, next out, playing the Pain Olympics. Again, always out, but again, I do fear. Some people need a reminder. You do not have to compare your pain, your grief, your suffering to anybody else's. And just because there are other bad things happening in the world does not mean that you have to minimize the pain that you are feeling. That is very real to you. We don't have to compete here. Okay? There is no use in that. And the last out that I have is the cultural overemphasis on peace protection and individualism that has eroded true community and village building. Ugh. I fear that there is a line that many people have crossed, and people go so far down the peace protection line of thinking, prioritizing yourself. You go all the way down that line, and then you get to the end of it, and you're like, where are all my friends? And it's because friendship sometimes requires sacrifice and doing things you don't always want to do and inconveniencing yourself for other people. If you never inconvenience yourself for your friends, you might have some reflections to do. I think that sometimes that is part of friendship. I'm having a bad day, but my friend is going through something catastrophic. I'm going to show up for them. I'm really tired and don't want to go to this person's birthday party, but guess what? I'm going to rally and make it happen because they're important to me and I want to celebrate them. Life is about balance, but I fear that sometimes people go all the way in the peace protection direction and we think that saying no to everything we're not excited about is the answer. But it's okay to sometimes do things that you don't want to do, that you're too tired to do. Sometimes it's okay to just do it anyways because you want to be a good friend. There it is. Ins and outs for 2026. Take it or leave it. No rebuttals, no returns, no nothing. Okay. It is what it is. It's already been set in stone. Don't tell ya. Don't know what to tell ya. Now that we're in 2026, I can officially talk to you guys about my favorite movies for 2025 and what I thought the true best pictures of the year was. Overall, I found 2025 to be kind of a disappointing year for film overall. I enjoyed the movies that came out in 2024 way more. I think overall last year, at the end of the year, I had ranked 10 movies 5 stars. And this year, only 4 new releases hit a 5-star ranking for me. And those 4 movies were A Ballad of Wallace Island, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, and Marty Supreme. And at the very last second, Marty Supreme swooped in and became my favorite movie of the year. First it was Ballad, then it was One Battle After Another, then it was Hamnet, then it was Marty Supreme. At the last second, Marty came in and just dominated every movie that I've seen this year. I loved Marty Supreme. I saw it opening night in New York, and then I went home and I saw it a second time with my family because I needed them to see it. And I'll read you the review that I wrote. This was my unfiltered review. I wrote this before any discourse about Marty Supreme started. Again, this is why I love and recommend people to go see movies right when they come out so that you are not influenced by other people's dog shit opinions. But here was my review for Marty Supreme. Timothy delivers an absolute masterclass of a match between ambition and ego that's even better the second time around. The entire film, I had Timmy's SAG speech from last year playing inside my head, remembering the mixed reaction it got from people determined to pick it apart online and talk about how conceited and out of touch it was to acknowledge his own commitment to a pursuit of greatness. His speech really touched me. It resonated, and I admired how vulnerable it was to share that on the world stage, knowing how deeply critical people are about raw ambition and owning the desire to be remembered in a truly larger-than-life way. Where is the line between being ambitious and being violently egotistical? Having an ego isn't inherently bad. It's universal. It's a requirement for realized ambition. I really admire Timothy because of how unapologetic he is in that way. And I really love Marty Supreme because it's such an energizing portrayal of an unchecked ego, raging ambition, the most unlikable parts of allowing your dream to make you selfish, fused with the admiration of witnessing someone who truly gives a shit among thousands of people stuck in the I don't give a fuck Olympics. Define your purpose and make it work at any cost. The script is superb. The casting is so elite. Editing is a slam fucking dunk. I really can't find anything I don't love about this movie. Dream big, baby. So I went into this movie very excited, and I left equally as satisfied. I do love Timothée Chalamet. I also famously like pretty much anything that either of the Safdie brothers touches. And I'd seen the trailer for Marty so many times. I knew what the vibe was going to be, and I knew I was going to like it because I am someone who really loves stories about ambition. The good parts, the ugly parts, highs, lows, ups, downs, the worst ambitious people, the best ambitious people. Ambition is just a quality that I find really interesting and very entertaining, particularly when it's as well done and well showcased as it is in Marty Supreme. I've mostly tried to stay away from the Marty Supreme discourse, mostly because I think that the people engaging in this discourse are not people that I know or have ever been in the same circles with. I think that in my circles, Marty Supreme was universally beloved. So that's the world that I live in. Me and all my friends, we're fucking with Marty. Okay. So I've mostly stayed away from it, but I've seen a few things here and there. Some truly crazy takes about Marty Supreme, but it highlights kind of a larger issue that we've talked about a couple times. When it comes to movie critiques, I think we talked about it in reference to Challengers as well, particularly when I made my parents go watch it, and they had a very different reaction than I did to the movie. Obviously, I loved Challengers. My parents did not feel the same way. But I saw TikTok, and the first sentence of this TikTok, the creator says, "Some of you are way too woke to enjoy Marty Supreme." And I hate to say it, but I think that's true. Some of the things that they pulled that people had been saying in this TikTok were quotes such as, The directors had no right to make this movie. Art has to be digestible by the general public, or it's bad at communicating its message. And if you found Marty Supreme at all inspiring, you are a bad person. Guys, come on. We have to be serious for a second. Okay. I think it's interesting to me, particularly on TikTok, how people choose the most like inflammatory possible thing that they can say, and they just run with it. Like saying the directors had no right to make this movie in response to seeing a movie that just isn't it for you, that you don't click with. Because for the record, it's totally fine if you don't like Marty Supreme, if it's not the movie for you, if it just is not touching on subjects that resonate, if the characters weren't compelling to you, if the writing just wasn't for you, that's fine. You're allowed to not like things. But it is interesting to me how a lot of people take it to the degree of like the directors had no right to make this movie, as if you just watched like a snuff film. Like, what are we talking about? What do you mean the directors had no right to make this movie? And then to say something like, oh, if a movie has to be dissected in order to be easily understood by the general public, then it didn't do a good job at communicating its message, and therefore it's like toxic, or it's a problem, because stupid people out there are going to take it at face value and think that Marty Supreme is like something to aspire to, that Marty Mauser is an inspirational character. So therefore it's bad because some people are stupid and the movie didn't dumb it down enough for the general public to get that. Like, that's insane. That's an insane take. Do you understand what you're asking? I think that a lot of people love to give movie critiques on TikTok, but they don't have nearly the media literacy capacity to make that critique worthwhile. Like, some of you need to stop giving movie critiques. You can just say that you didn't like a movie without trying to go into some dunk spiel on fucking Josh Safdie and Timothée Chalamet because it wasn't hitting for you. It's too much. It is. I think that we need to be clocking in on some media literacy hours before we start reducing everything we watch to its lowest common denominator and calling for its demise like it's actually something toxic, because there is a toxic character within the movie. This is how I felt when I sent my parents to go see Challengers, and I was like, wasn't it awesome? And they came out and they were like, but why were they all bad? And I was like, guys, what? I didn't like the movie because it made me sad because they were all bad people. Guys, what? I lost my mind when that happened. And I feel like something similar but also slightly different is happening here with Marty Supreme. But similar in the sense that people find Marty's character, Marty Mauser, to be pretty unlikable, because in many ways he is. And I think that some people don't know how to sit with that. Not everyone. I think there's some people who dislike the movie, dislike Marty's character, and have a totally sound reason for disliking him or not being super moved by the movie. But the people who are normal about it are not the people that are calling for the movie's demise or being like, if you like this, you're a toxic person. Like, I think that these are two different people. You can dislike the movie, have it not hit, have your own critiques for it, and be like a perfectly media literate person. To be clear. But I didn't have to make that clarification for you, because if you're a part of that group, you already knew that. Again, with the disclaimers. See, I just did it right now. This is the fucking illness that we have been just pushed into, having to constantly make disclaimers for everybody on the internet, because somebody out there was going to be like, well, I disliked Marty and I didn't. Shut up. No one was talking to you. No one was talking to you. We're not talking about people who disliked Marty Supreme, disliked the character of Marty Mauser, not resonating for them, and had a normal critique of the movie. We're talking about people who watched this movie, didn't like it, didn't like Marty, and were like, this movie sucks and the directors shouldn't have made this, and anybody who likes this movie or likes the character of Marty Mauser and has anything good to say is a bad and toxic person. You should be aware of them. These are the people we're talking about. If that wasn't you, don't worry about it. So let's talk about Marty and his goodness, because I feel like this was a topic that was at the center of a lot of these arguments people were having on TikTok, which is that they were worried that young boys would start idolizing Marty Mauser as if Marty is someone to aspire to be like, and that it would be like the worst thing ever to have Marty Mauser become like an icon for young boys and how to behave. And I think that point makes sense if you just remove yourself from any of the nuance or specificities of the movie you just watched. Like I don't understand how that point would feel like it's hidden for people who actually watched the movie. I feel like that point only hits if you live in a black hole and you closed your eyes for half the movie. I just feel like that is such a surface level analysis of what we watched and what the impact would be on audiences, particularly young audiences. I think you are assuming that people are really stupid. And I think that you should give audiences a little bit more credit at their ability to deduce right from wrong and make their own assessments and opinions of the characters that they're watching. Not everybody has to like the main character in order to like the movie. I think that's a you problem. I just feel like it's a take that only holds up if we rip the film of all its nuance and discourage people from indulging in the contrast of his ambition and where it transforms into selfishness. Like, I am someone who I really loved Marty Supreme as a movie, and I enjoyed Marty as a character. That doesn't mean that I thought he was a good person. Okay? I loved Marty Mauser as a character because he is deeply complicated and incredibly flawed. That's how I like him. That's how I like my lead characters. I really liked Marty because there are aspects of Marty that I can see in myself, that I think that all ambitious, driven people can see in themselves. He has this incredible ambition and this steadfast delusion that I believe is necessary to have success in life to some degree. You have to believe in yourself to such a degree that is like unreasonable. And he does that. I admire that in people. That's a trait that I like. I famously love ambitious people. I find ambition to be like the most attractive trait in another person. This is also because I'm a very ambitious person. I have always been very passionate. I've always been a very hard worker. I'm very driven. And part of why I was so excited to see Marty Supreme was because of a clip that they had in the trailer, which is when Gwyneth Paltrow is basically telling Timmy's character, like, well, what if it doesn't work out for you? What if it doesn't go the way that you want it to? And his response, Marty's response, is to say, that doesn't even enter my brain space. Like, there is not even a world where this doesn't work out to me. I don't even go there. It's gonna happen for me. And I loved that part of the trailer because this was a conversation that I had with my dad like every other day when I was a teenager. Every other day of my life, I would talk to my dad about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to be creative for a living. And I wanted to just move to New York and make my YouTube videos and create content and just do my thing. And he would always tell me to get a backup plan. And I was such a brat. I would always be like, I don't need one. And this was how the conversation would go every single time. I would be talking about what I was passionate about, what lit me up. My dad would be like, that's all good and well, but you really need a backup plan. And I would get salty every time. I'd be like, no, I don't. I literally don't. And I believed it. I believed it wholeheartedly. It's a feeling that I still remember intimately. And so when I saw that conversation in the trailer, it made me giggle. It made me smile because I understand how truly delusional that you have to be sometimes when you believe in yourself and in your dream above all else. That part of Marty's character, I really love. And it is compelling to me. I love the way that Timothy portrays it. I also love it because I think that that's a trait that Timothy also has. I talked a lot about his SAG speech last year and how much that impacted me and how much I loved that he was willing to like vulnerably share that he was in pursuit of greatness and that's something that mattered to him. I loved it. And so looking at a character like Marty Mauser, these traits are also present. And so I like those parts of Marty's character. Now, obviously, as the movie goes on and through all the different escapades that Marty gets into, you see that this is like a case of truly unchecked ambition and someone that is allowing their dreams to make them selfish, and someone that is delusional to a degree that allows him to become like a steamroller to those around him. But it's also complicated because it's clear that he has kind of a strained and over-dependent mother who is like at the beginning of the movie trying to con him to come home and take her to the hospital when she's totally fine. And he doesn't have a lot of money. He's got this dream. And I think that it's important that the dream was ping pong as well. It had to be something that was kind of looked down on or scoffed at. Like nobody hears, oh, I want to be like the next best ping pong star and is like, oh, that's awesome. Everyone's rolling their eyes. It's like if the kid is like, you know, if Marty was like, oh, I want to be a football star, people would respect that more. And there's part of that I resonated with as well as someone who has had aspirations to be a YouTuber, to be a podcaster since I was 13 years old. The amount of scoffs that I've gotten throughout my life, people being like, really? That's what you want to do? There is something about being ambitious towards something that not everyone understands or sees the value of that makes this movie even richer to me, because it makes a lot of the choices that he makes and like how much he's willing to sacrifice for his dream seem that much more ridiculous and like sinister at times. All of that to say, I liked Marty's character because of the contrast between his good traits and how they've been used to sort of make him into a more dark, sinister person. I love a deeply complicated character. I do. I think it's awesome that he is such a menace for the majority of this movie. I just feel like if you went in to see this movie and you came out of it with your only reflection being, I hated Marty's character because he's a bad person, and anybody that finds his character likable in any way is a bad person, and this is toxic for young boys and look, the directors should be held accountable. I just think that if that was your reaction to seeing this movie, I don't know how to say this nicely. I think you're dumb. I think that you are not equipped to watch movies. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sorry. And I won't spoil the ending, but I also think that just went clean over a lot of people's heads. I don't know why some people have such a hard time sitting with these like deeply flawed, complicated characters that behave badly and who are at times violently unlikable. I don't know why people have such a hard time with that. I personally hope that Timothy wins an Oscar for Best Actor for this role. I was really moved by his performance here. I thought he was fantastic. And yeah, I just loved Marty Supreme, and I'd love to see some award recognition there for Best Actor, because I do think that Best Picture will go to one battle, and I think Best Director will as well. So seeing Timmy get Best Actor, I think would feel really good to me personally. If you haven't seen Marty Supreme, go see it. If you've seen it and you loved it, hi twin. If you've seen it and you hated it and were normal about it, or could verbalize a critique that wasn't insane, I love you also. And maybe we need to get you a TikTok account, because people are crazy on there. And there needs to be more normal people who can talk about their critique or their dislike of something without going to all of these insane extremes. What happened to movie discourse that wasn't like completely rotted with the dumbest people you've ever met, or you haven't met, that you never will meet? They solely exist on the internet. Sometimes in the midst of all of this shit, I have a moment where dead internet theory becomes even more appealing to me, where I'm like, maybe it's true. You know, maybe all these people are just bots sent here to piss me off and generate engagement for brands to get money, because there's no way a real person believes this. You got to be made up. Your whole thing is just, yeah, you're a bot. You're a bot. Me telling myself that everybody with an insane take is a bot, so that way I can sleep at night, because it's getting tough. It's getting very difficult. My bed is going to be covered in feathers from this boa, but isn't it so fun? Like, maybe we should wear feather boas more often. Bringing it back. Add that to the ins list of this year. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for catching up with me. If you want to keep these good vibes going, I'm going to throw us on over to the post show on Patreon. So much love to all of my patrons. Would love to see you guys over there. And if not, I will see you next week for a brand new episode, perhaps, maybe even a little sooner than you know. What could that possibly mean? I don't know. Guess we'll have to find out next week. Love you guys so much. Happy season 5. Mwah.